This begins Chapter 3, Lesson 3, dealing with multiplying rational numbers. Alright, so now we're going to write negative 2 3/4 as a fraction. Is it A, 11/4, B, 9/4, negative 9/4, sorry, C, negative 6/4, or D, negative 5/4? And your answer is? So now write 29 as a fraction. Is it A, 1/29, B, 2/9, C, 9/2, or D, 29/1? And your answer is? Now write 6/10 as a fraction in simplest form. Is it A, 6/100, B, 6/10, C, 3/5, or D, 1/6? And your answer is? Write 3 and 25/100 as a mixed number in simplest form. Is the answer A, 1 1/3, B, 3 1/4, C, 3 1/5, or D, 3 1/25? And the answer is? Write 3/10 repeating as a fraction in simplest form. Is the answer A, 1/11, B, 3/10, C, 1/3, or D, 3 3/10? And your answer is? Which of the following fractions is between 20/100 and 25/100? Is the answer A, 1/4, B, 2/9, C, 4/10, or D, 1/6? And your answer is? B. If you thought it was A is equal to 25/100, and that is not, doesn't fall within those two units. Alright, so we have already multiplied positive fractions. We did that last year. So now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply positive and negative fractions, and then evaluate some algebraic expressions with fractions. Alright, so now when we multiply fractions, we're going to multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. So as you see, and we can use it with symbols, or we can use it with numbers. The key thing is just to remember when there's that negative sign in front of the fraction, that you either put it with the numerator or with the denominator. As long as you only do it to one, you'll be fine. So we're going to multiply 2/5 and 5/8, and then write the product in simplest form. So we'll multiply the numbers, multiply the denominators, and we will get 10/40 or 1/4. So our answer is 1/4. Alright, so find 3/8 times 2/9, and then write the product in simplest form. Is the answer A, 5/72, B, 6/72, C, 1 1/12, or D, 6/63? And your answer is? Now, find a negative 1/4 times 2/7. Write the product in simplest form. Now, they're going to do what's called simplifying, where they kind of pull out the terms that they would have to divide out. You can either go ahead and simplify before you multiply, or simplify after you multiply, but either way you're still going to have to simplify. And so all it does is it gives you an opportunity where you get the numerators and the denominators are already in their simplest form, and then you usually end up with a number that you don't have to simplify at the end. And notice what they did here is how they did not drop that negative sign. So they had one negative fraction and one positive fraction that's going to equal a negative product. The answer is a negative 1/14. So now what you're going to do is, with these two mixed numbers, you're going to find the product of 1 1/2 and 3 2/3 and write the product in simplest form. Now when you multiply fractions, mixed numbers here, you're going to have to convert them both to improper fractions. So 1 1/2 becomes 3/2, and 3 2/3 becomes 11/3. And then it is just as if you were multiplying. And they're going to simplify before they multiply, which is fine, you can do that. And so now they're left with 11/2, and so then they're going to simplify that into 5 1/2. So now we're going to find 6/14 times a negative 21/40. And then we're going to write the product in simplest form. Now your calculator is not going to help you in the sense that it's not going to give you a fraction answer. These answers need to be in fractions, not in decimal form. So is the answer A, 9/40, B, negative 9/40, C, negative 63 280ths, or D, negative 126 560ths? And your answer is B. The last two, C and D, are fractions that you get when you multiply across, but they're not in simplest form. And while A is in simplest form, they drop the negative, so that would make A incorrect. So we're going to find 2 2/7 times 3 1/4, and then we're going to write the product in simplest form. Is the answer A, 27/7, B, 6 1/14, C, 200 divided by 28, or D, 7 3/7? Make sure you convert them into improper fractions first, and then solve. And remember, you can always pause the video if you need more time. And your answer is D. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into evaluating these rational expressions using multiplication. So we're going to evaluate 2/3 times xy if x is equal to a negative 3/4 and y is equal to a negative 1/2. So here we have a positive fraction times a negative fraction times a negative fraction. So we already know that our product, or our answer, is going to be positive. So we're going to substitute in our values. And then here is where I like to kind of cross multiply and see if what I can weed out that I don't need. So 2, because here you have a 2 and a 2, those would divide out. And then 3 and 3, those would be divide out, so all you're left with is a 1 and a 4. So your answer is 1/4. And it's positive, like I said, because those two negative fractions make it positive. So your answer is 1/4. Alright, try this one for yourself. You're going to take 3/8 times mn, where m is equal to negative 5/12 and n is equal to a negative 2/3. Write the answer in simplest form. Is it A, 5/48, B, negative 5/48, C, 5/16, or D, negative 5/16? And your answer is A. Alright, so now what we're going to do is do a little bit of an example where it's taken into the context of a word problem. Rashid collected cash donations for underprivileged children every October. This October, he collected $784. Last year, he collected 5/8 as much. How much did Rashid collect last October? So we have this amount that he collected this October, and last October he collected less than 784. So if we multiply 784 by 5/8, we will get our answer. So we're going to rewrite 784 into a fraction, just so that we're dealing with like and like. We're going to factor out since 8 already goes into 784, then we don't have to multiply as much in terms of our numbers. And so then we're left with 98 times 5, and that is 490. And it would make sense that he would collect less than what he did last year. So Rashid collected $490 last October. So Melissa is buying a sweater originally priced for $81. The sweater is discounted by 2/3. Find the amount of the discount. So we're going to take 81 times 2/3 to find out how much she is saving on the sweater. Is the answer A, 64, B, 54, C, $50.67, or D, $27? And your answer is B, $54. And that concludes your lesson.